The idea of infinity is simple to say, but impossible to truly understand, an endlessness that stretches beyond all thought. Welcome to Boring Stuff. Tonight, we'll take a slow, peaceful journey through the idea of infinity, how it touches space, time, numbers, and the universe itself. So get comfortable, close your eyes if you like, and let's begin. The night sky stretches overhead, vast and silent. Stars, scattered across the darkness, twinkle from unimaginable distances. It is easy to feel small beneath this endless expanse. And yet, even as the stars seem countless, they are only a hint of the universe's true scale. When we look up, what we see is only a small part of what exists. The stars closest to us shine brightly enough to pierce the night. Beyond them lie billions of stars we cannot see with the naked eye, scattered through the arms of our galaxy, the Milky Way. Beyond the Milky Way lie other galaxies, spiral, elliptical, irregular, each filled with stars of its own. Some of those galaxies are so far away that their light has taken billions of years to reach us. And beyond those galaxies, there is more. The universe stretches in all directions. No one has ever found an edge. No wall marks the place where space ends and something else begins. The more we look, the more we find. Cosmologists, those who study the universe itself, tell us that space might be infinite. It might go on without end. No matter how far you travel, there would always be more ahead, in every direction, forever. This is difficult to picture. The mind wants to imagine a boundary, a place where things stop. A room has walls. A planet has a surface, but the universe, space itself, may be different. It may have no boundary at all. One way to think about it is this. Imagine standing on the surface of the earth. You can walk in any direction, east, west, north, south. There is no edge. You can keep going. Eventually, you would return to where you started. Not because you found a wall, but because the surface curves back on itself. The universe might be similar, though in more dimensions than we can easily imagine. It might loop back, or it might extend endlessly. Some models of the universe suggest a closed shape. Others suggest flatness, stretching forever. Either way, the idea of infinity is close at hand. Even in the observable universe, the part we can see, the numbers are staggering. There are estimated to be more than 2 trillion galaxies, each containing billions or trillions of stars. And for each star, a chance of planets, moons, asteroids, comets. The distances are vast. Light, the fastest thing in the universe, takes years just to cross the gap between nearby stars. It takes millions of years to travel between galaxies. And if space is infinite, there would be no final destination, no outer edge. Every point in the universe would be like every other, a place in the middle of endless space. The idea can feel dizzying, but it is also peaceful. No rush, no hurry, just a quiet expanse in all directions. The stars we see are only those whose light has reached us. Light travels at a finite speed, and the universe has a finite age. About 13.8 billion years have passed since the Big Bang. That limits how far we can see, not because space ends, but because light from farther regions has not had enough time to arrive. This forms what astronomers call the observable universe, a vast sphere around us, about 93 billion light-years across. Within this sphere lie the galaxies we can detect. But beyond it, there is likely more. Space continues, unseen, its contents still sending out light that may never reach us. In this way, the universe may be infinite, not just in size, but in potential. If space goes on forever, then the number of stars would be infinite. The number of planets would be infinite. Somewhere, there could be worlds very much like our own, circling stars in distant galaxies. And though we may never reach them, the possibility is there, a quiet promise in the night sky. Infinity is not just a number. It is a way of thinking about the universe. No end, no outer boundary, no final wall to press against. Just endless space, stretching softly into the unknown. Even the simplest beam of light, traveling across the cosmos, moves through this infinite fabric. It does not aim for a destination, but simply continues, crossing the emptiness, moving past stars, curving gently around gravity wells. Some of that light reaches us, some never will, and still it travels endlessly. The thought that space might be infinite can bring a sense of calm. In a universe without edges, there is always more room, more time. Stars will burn, fade, and die. Galaxies will drift apart. But space itself will remain, a canvas with no corners, no sides. Even as the universe expands, as it has been since the Big Bang, space simply grows. It does not push into anything else. It stretches itself. And if it is infinite, it always has been, and always will be. The stars you see at night are ancient messengers from this vastness. Each photon of light began a journey long ago, crossing immense distances to meet your eyes. And behind those stars, hidden beyond your sight, lies more. Countless other stars, other galaxies, other possibilities. And perhaps, beyond even them, an infinity that never ends. Not in sound, not in time, but in quiet space, unfolding softly, forever. When you gaze into the night sky, it may seem like the stars above form a kind of ceiling, an arch of glittering lights that marks the upper edge of the world. And yet, the more you look, the more you realize there is no ceiling, no end, just more stars, and more beyond them. Each pinprick of light in the night is a star, or perhaps a distant galaxy. The nearest stars lie just a few light years away. The farthest visible galaxies lie billions of light years from Earth. And in between, space stretches vast and silent. Even in the darkest corners of the night sky, where no stars seem to shine, there is light. Point a sensitive telescope there, and after hours of exposure, galaxies begin to appear. Thousands upon thousands of them, filling even the tiniest patch of sky. This was first demonstrated in the 1990s, when the Hubble Space Telescope was pointed at what seemed to be an empty part of the sky. The result was stunning. A deep field image showing thousands of galaxies, each filled with stars, in a space no bigger than a grain of sand held at arm's length. It was a humbling view. What appeared empty to the eye was, in truth, overflowing with distant light, light that had traveled for billions of years to reach us. Light from galaxies whose stars had burned and faded long ago, whose worlds may be cold and silent now, or whose stars may have given rise to life yet unknown. And if such richness exists in one tiny patch of sky, imagine what lies across the entire sphere of the heavens. In every direction, the same pattern repeats. Stars, galaxies, more stars, more galaxies. Even now, with powerful telescopes scanning the sky, we have only glimpsed a fraction of what is out there. Much of the universe remains hidden from view, not because it is gone, but because its light has not yet reached us. And so the night sky is not a window looking out at everything. It is more like a small circle of awareness, a moment in time and space, surrounded by the great unknown. As the universe expands, distant galaxies move farther away. Some move away so quickly that their light is stretched beyond the visible spectrum into infrared or radio waves. Some recede faster than light can cross the growing space between us, meaning their light will never arrive. These effects mean that the observable universe, what we can see, is limited, not by distance alone, but by time and motion. Yet even within this limit, the scale is vast. Light from the farthest known galaxies began its journey when the universe was young, when the first stars had only just formed. Those photons traveled across expanding space for more than 13 billion years before finally reaching our instruments. And in all that time, the universe kept growing. The light stretched, its wavelengths shifted, and still it came on, unbroken, to show us the past. Looking deeper into the sky is not just looking outward, it is looking backward in time. The farther we look, the younger the universe appears. The more distant the object, the earlier in cosmic history it existed. In this way, the night sky is a kind of time machine, a window into a universe both vast in space and deep in time. It raises simple questions that are anything but simple to answer. How far does it go? If space is infinite, there is no end, no final star, no last galaxy, only more, waiting beyond the reach of our sight. And as time passes and technology improves, new windows will open, new light will be captured. Yet even the best instruments face a limit. Beyond a certain distance, the expansion of space outpaces the speed of light. Beyond that, objects recede faster than light can travel. They move out of sight, not because they vanish, but because their light can no longer bridge the growing gap. And so the sky holds mysteries we may never solve, regions of space forever beyond our reach, galaxies whose light will never arrive, stars whose stories remain untold. But there is beauty in this too. The sky is not a picture with a frame. It is a living thing, a vast field of time and light, forever shifting, forever revealing more. No matter how long we observe, there will always be more beyond, more to imagine. And in this infinite reach, our small place gains perspective. To look up at the stars is to remember how wide the universe truly is, how patient, how enduring. The sky offers no edges, no stopping point, just an invitation to gaze, to wonder, to drift gently into the quiet thoughts of space. Even now, as you lie here and listen, countless photons cross the sky. Light, older than human memory, continues its endless journey. Some of it will reach telescopes, some will fade unseen. Some will pass through the earth unnoticed. And beyond that, more light, more stars, in every direction, forever. The night sky is deep not only in space, but in time. It connects us to the earliest moments of the cosmos and to futures far beyond our imagining. And though the distances are vast and the light is faint, the message is clear. The universe is wider than we can see, and the sky above is only the beginning. Time, like space, seems simple at first glance. It flows in one direction, second by second, hour by hour. You can mark its passage with a clock, a calendar, a sunrise. But when you step back, when you think about the universe as a whole, time becomes something far deeper and far more mysterious. In the same way that the sky stretches in all directions, so too does time stretch forward. The universe, born in an early moment of heat and light, the Big Bang, has been expanding ever since. Space itself is stretching. Galaxies drift apart. Stars burn their fuel. Worlds turn slowly in the darkness. And through it all, time flows. We measure the universe's age at about 13.8 billion years. A long time, but still just a beginning. The universe is young compared to what lies ahead. There is no sign that time will stop. No cosmic clock to run down. No moment when space will cease to expand. Instead, the universe unfolds into an endless future, one in which time itself may have no final chapter. The expansion of the universe is not slowing down. In fact, it is accelerating. The space between galaxies grows wider. Over billions of years, more and more galaxies will slip beyond our observable horizon, their light unable to reach us. But the universe itself will remain, and time will continue its patient flow. It is strange to imagine a future so long that today's stars will be gone. Stars like our sun, burning bright in the sky, will exhaust their fuel. Some will become white dwarfs, small, fading embers of heat and light. Others will end in collapse, becoming neutron stars or black holes. The galaxies themselves will grow dimmer. Star formation will slow as the raw materials for new stars are used up. The brilliant spiral arms of the Milky Way will fade into the background. Yet time will continue. Long after the last new star is born, time will flow. Long after the Earth is gone, time will flow. Long after the Milky Way merges with other galaxies and takes on a new shape, time will flow. What lies in that future is a quiet universe. Black holes drifting through space, cooling remnants of old stars, gas clouds stretched thin, galaxies so far apart that their light can no longer bridge the gap between them. And through this stillness, time, without hurry, without end. Physicists speak of time as a dimension, woven into the very fabric of space. Just as space can stretch and bend, so can time. Near massive objects, like black holes, time slows. In the emptiness of space, it flows more freely. But always, it moves forward. There is no cosmic force to reverse its course. No sign that the expansion of space will draw to a close. The universe may continue this way, not for billions of years, but for trillions, and beyond. After trillions of years, most of the stars will be gone. Galaxies will be pale shadows of their former selves. Black holes will remain, the last massive structures in the cosmos. But even they will not last forever. Over unimaginable spans of time, they will slowly radiate their mass away through a faint, patient process. And beyond that, a universe of darkness, space continuing to expand, time continuing to unfold. No stars, no galaxies. Just the cold remains of what once was. A canvas without new light, without new heat. It is a vision of the far future that feels distant beyond comprehension. And yet, it is part of the story of the universe. An endless time. A journey that goes on without a defined end. And we, living in this early age of stars and light, are witnesses to the beginning of that long journey. In the grand stretch of time, all that we know, our planet, our sun, even our galaxy, are moments in the early dawn of existence. There will be ages of stars, ages of fading light, ages of black holes, ages of dark, empty space. And through all of it, time will keep flowing. The concept of endless time brings its own kind of calm. There is no rush, no final hour marked on the cosmic clock, just a slow unfolding, as patient as space itself. It invites the mind to rest, to release the need for endings, to simply drift like starlight through the void. Every second that passes is part of this quiet flow, a tiny step in an infinite river of time. And though the future may be cold and dark, it is also peaceful, a universe that fades, but does not break, a story that slows, but does not stop. And through it all, the silent witness of time remains. In a universe without edges, without a final hour, time itself is infinite, not in a way we can count, not in days or years or centuries, but in the quiet unfolding of being, a presence that never ends. And as you listen now, as your breath slows and your body grows still, you too are drifting in that infinite stream, a small moment within an endless now. Numbers are something we use every day, to count, to measure, to compare. They seem so ordinary, so familiar. And yet, numbers carry with them the idea of infinity in its purest form. Begin with something simple. Counting. 1, 2, 3. There is no largest number, no final count, no point where you must stop. No matter how high you go, you can always add one more. This is the first glimpse of infinity in numbers, the infinite sequence of natural numbers stretching onward forever. Mathematicians call this an infinite set. It is not a number itself, but a never-ending collection of numbers. You can list them, one after another, for as long as you like, and still, there will always be more. Even between the whole numbers, infinity appears again. Between 1 and 2, there are fractions: 1.5, 1 1/4, 1 1/8. And even between these fractions, smaller numbers still. You can always divide again. Between any two numbers, no matter how close, there are infinitely many others. The number line is not a chain of points spaced apart. It is a continuous stream, a smooth path where numbers fill every gap. This is the infinity of the real numbers. Not just counting numbers, but every possible value, whole, fractional, and everything in between. You can zoom in endlessly, and the numbers continue. There is no smallest distance between them. The closer you look, the more you find. This is a different kind of infinity from the one that comes from counting. An infinity not of size, but of density. An endless richness, filling every corner of the number line. And the patterns within these infinities are beautiful. Take the sequence of even numbers: 2, 4, 6, 8. An infinite list, but also a pattern, simple, repeating. Or the sequence of prime numbers: 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. Numbers that cannot be divided by anything but themselves, and 1. Primes seem scattered at first, no clear pattern, and yet there are infinitely many of them, stretching onward through the vast landscape of numbers. Mathematicians have long explored these patterns: infinite series, infinite sums, infinite shapes. Some sums, when added carefully, approach a finite value. 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/8 plus 1/16. Added forever, approaches 1. Other sums grow without bound. 1 plus 1/2 plus 1/3 plus 1/4 continues to increase, no matter how many terms you add. Infinity comes in many forms. There are different sizes of infinity, different kinds of endlessness. Some infinite sets can be matched to others, 1 to 1. The counting numbers match the even numbers: 1 with 2, 2 with 4, 3 with 6. An infinite pairing. But the real numbers between 0 and 1 form an even larger infinity, so large that it cannot be matched 1 to 1 with the counting numbers. In this way, some infinities are larger than others, a strange but true idea, first explored by mathematician Georg Cantor. He showed that infinity is not a single thing, but a whole landscape of different infinities, layered in subtle ways. The idea that some infinities are bigger than others feels strange, but it is part of the deep structure of mathematics, a reminder that even in something as simple as numbers, endlessness appears again and again. Even shapes reveal infinity. A simple circle can be divided into infinite angles. A fractal shape, like the intricate patterns of a snowflake, reveals new details the closer you look. Infinite complexity within finite space. The famous Mandelbrot set, a mathematical fractal, shows this vividly. Zoom in, and more patterns emerge. Zoom further, and the patterns continue, forever. In this way, the infinite appears in the heart of the finite. Bounded shapes, endless detail. A simple line, infinite points. a single number, infinite digits. Even the number pi, the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter, carries infinity within it. Its decimal expansion goes on forever, never repeating. 3.114159, and on, without end. Yet this infinite string describes something as simple as a circle. Infinity weaves through mathematics in ways both simple and profound. In the counting numbers, in the real number line, in the patterns of primes, in the endless digits of pi, and even in the spaces between. It reminds us that the universe of numbers is vast, that even the simplest ideas can unfold into infinite possibilities. And as you listen now, breathing slowly, drifting through this quiet story, you too are part of this endless unfolding, a mind exploring the infinite, one thought at a time. No hurry, no end, just the gentle rhythm of numbers and the peace of knowing that, no matter how far you count, there is always further to go. It is natural to think of space and time in simple units: a second, a minute, an hour, a meter, a kilometer. These measures help us understand the world around us. They give us ways to mark where things are and when they happen. But beneath these familiar units, there is a deeper question. Can space and time be divided endlessly? If you take a meter and cut it in half, you are left with two pieces. Cut one of those in half again, and again, and again. Does the process ever truly end? Is there a smallest possible length? Or is space continuous, able to be divided forever into smaller and smaller parts? The same question applies to time. If you measure 1 second, you can divide it into tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and smaller still. Does time flow in an unbroken stream, or is it made of tiny, indivisible moments, so small that no clock could ever measure them? These are not just philosophical questions. They lie at the heart of how we understand the universe. On the scale of everyday life, space and time seem smooth. A ball rolls across the floor. A clock ticks on the wall. We move through space and experience time without noticing any gaps or breaks. But when we look closely, very closely, things may change. At the smallest known scales, the universe behaves according to the laws of quantum mechanics. Particles can exist in more than one place at once. Energy appears in discrete packets. The sharp lines of classical physics begin to blur. Physicists have proposed that space itself may be quantized, that there may be a smallest possible unit of length below which the very idea of space loses meaning. This smallest scale is called the Planck length. It is unimaginably small, about 1.6 times 10 to the negative 35 meters. That is 1/millionth of a billionth of a billionth of a billionth of a centimeter. Smaller than an atom, smaller than a proton, smaller than anything we can measure. At this scale, space may no longer be smooth, but instead woven from tiny, indivisible threads, a quantum fabric beyond which the concept of position may not apply. The same may be true for time. There may be a smallest possible unit, a Planck time, below which time itself cannot be further divided. If this is true, then space and time are not infinite in their divisibility. They have a grainy structure at the smallest scales, a quiet limit to how finely the universe can be sliced. But we do not yet know for certain. The nature of space-time at these scales remains one of the great mysteries of physics. Even if space and time are quantized, the universe we experience remains vast and continuous. The distances between stars, the gentle flow of time across a quiet evening, the path of light through the sky, all of it unfolds smoothly at the scales of human life. And yet, within this smoothness, the possibility of infinite division remains. The mind can imagine taking a distance, any distance, and dividing it. Half, then half again, and again. In thought, there is no end to this process. This idea that space can be endlessly divided was pondered by philosophers in ancient times. They wondered, if space is continuous, how can motion occur? Does an object cross an infinite number of points in order to move from here to there? These questions led to famous paradoxes, such as Zeno's paradoxes, which still inspire thought today. In practice, the universe allows motion, change, and flow. We walk from place to place. Planets orbit stars. Light crosses the void. Whether space is truly infinite in its divisibility or built from discrete pieces, the universe moves on. The stars wheel slowly across the sky. Time flows gently, moment by moment. And in the quiet of night, as you rest and listen, you are part of this flow. A single breath, a single thought, woven into the fabric of space and time. The idea of infinite division reminds us of the universe's subtle depths. Beneath every distance, more distance. Beneath every moment, more moments. A quiet cascade falling endlessly into smaller and smaller scales. And if there is a limit, a smallest length, a smallest time, it lies beyond our senses, hidden in the heart of reality. For now, we experience a world of soft continuity, space without edges, time without gaps, a cosmos where distances unfold like gentle waves, and moments stretch into one another, without hurry, without end. As you lie here, breathing slowly, feeling the rhythm of time around you, you can imagine this infinite unfolding, the space between you and the stars, the time between now and forever, endless in thought, infinite in possibility, a universe with no smallest part, or perhaps a universe with a hidden texture finer than the eye can see. Either way, it moves on, calm and steady, and so do you. Black holes are places in the universe where the ordinary rules of space and time begin to break down. They form when a massive star comes to the end of its life, collapsing inward under the pull of its own gravity. The more the star collapses, the stronger its gravity becomes, until finally it reaches a point where nothing, not even light, can escape. At this point, an invisible boundary forms, the event horizon. From the outside, this horizon marks the edge of a black hole, a boundary in space where gravity is so strong that even light cannot climb back out. Once something crosses this threshold, whether it is a stray particle, a beam of light, or even an entire star, there is no return. But what lies beyond this event horizon? From the outside, we cannot see. No light escapes. No information returns. The event horizon hides whatever happens inside. Yet the laws of physics suggest that something remarkable lies within. At the very heart of the black hole, space itself may curve to an infinite degree. The mass of the collapsed star is compressed into a single point, a singularity, a place of infinite density, an object with no size, yet containing all the mass that once belonged to a star. It is here that the idea of infinity emerges once more. An infinite gravitational pull, an infinite curvature of space and time, a place where the known laws of physics can no longer describe what happens. Our best theories, Einstein's general relativity, predict this singularity. But at this point, relativity reaches its limits. Quantum mechanics, the theory that governs the smallest scales of the universe, must also come into play. Physicists do not yet have a complete theory that combines both gravity and quantum mechanics. Until they do, the true nature of the singularity and what lies beyond the event horizon remains one of the greatest mysteries in science. Is the singularity truly infinite? Or does the universe find some way to avoid this infinite collapse? Some theories suggest that new laws of quantum gravity may smooth out the singularity, replacing the infinite core with a tiny but finite structure. Others propose that space and time might continue beyond the singularity, that the black hole could be a kind of bridge to another region of the universe, or even another universe entirely. In this view, black holes are not ends, but gateways, paths through an infinite cosmic landscape. But so far, these ideas remain untested. The event horizon keeps its secrets. No signal can cross from the inside to the outside. No observer can report what lies within. Even time behaves strangely near a black hole. As an object approaches the event horizon, time for that object slows relative to an observer far away. From the outside, it would seem as though the object is frozen in place, taking forever to reach the horizon. But from the object's own perspective, time continues as normal. It crosses the horizon in a finite moment, moving ever inward toward the singularity. In this way, infinity appears again, an infinite slowing of time from one point of view. And inside the event horizon, all paths lead inward. There is no escape. No matter how fast you move, no matter which direction you choose, space itself curves in such a way that every path takes you closer to the singularity. It is a place where the usual ideas of direction and distance lose their meaning. And at the core, the singularity, space and time themselves may come to an end, or continue into something new. In this way, black holes are more than just objects. They are windows into infinity, infinite density, infinite curvature, perhaps even infinite possibilities. And the deeper we look into their nature, the more questions arise. Does information truly disappear inside a black hole? Or is it somehow preserved on the surface of the event horizon? If black holes slowly evaporate over vast stretches of time, through a process known as Hawking radiation, what happens to the information trapped inside? Does it vanish forever, or return, scattered through the cosmos? These questions touch on the deepest principles of physics, the nature of time, the limits of knowledge, the fabric of space itself. In the quiet darkness of a black hole, infinity waits, not as an abstract number, but as a real physical mystery, a place where space folds inward, endlessly, a place where time stretches without limit, a place where the boundaries of what we know dissolve into the unknown. And as you rest here, breathing gently, surrounded by the calm of night, you are connected to this vast universe of infinities. The stars above, the space between, the unseen black holes drifting quietly through the void. All part of an endless story, one that continues far beyond the event horizon. For much of history, it was assumed that there is only one universe, the one we see when we look up at the stars, the one we move through each day, the space and time that surround us on every side. But as our understanding of the cosmos has deepened, and as the mathematics of modern physics has uncovered new layers of possibility, an idea has emerged that stretches the imagination even further. The idea of the multiverse. The notion that our universe, vast though it may be, might not be the only one. In this view, our universe is just one among many, one bubble in an endless sea of possibilities, each bubble containing its own version of space, time, and physical laws. Some of these universes, according to theory, might resemble ours, with stars and galaxies and worlds much like the ones we know. Others might be vastly different, governed by different forces or constants of nature, with physics that bears no resemblance to our own. And in the grandest visions of the multiverse, the number of such universes is not merely large, but infinite. An endless expanse of universes, each with its own history, its own path through time. The idea of the multiverse arises from several different branches of thought. In some versions of cosmic inflation, the rapid expansion that shaped the early universe, new regions of space-time may continue to bud off from the original, each one forming its own universe with its own properties. In other interpretations of quantum mechanics, every possible outcome of every quantum event might give rise to a new branch of reality, an ever-splitting tree of worlds where all possibilities are realized. And in the mathematics of string theory, the number of possible configurations for space and the laws of physics is so large that countless distinct universes could, in principle, exist. The multiverse remains a speculative idea, one not yet confirmed by observation, but it offers a natural setting for the concept of infinity. For if there is no limit to the process that gives rise to these universes, if new regions of space-time continue to form, or if quantum branches continue to multiply, then the number of universes may truly be endless. An infinity not just of stars, or galaxies, or regions within a single universe, but an infinity of entire universes, each one with its own sky, its own history, its own version of the cosmic story. And within this infinite multiverse, there may exist universes where life never arose, or where it took forms utterly unfamiliar to us, or where versions of our own world played out in ways both similar and strange. It is a humbling thought. The universe we see may be only one small corner of a much greater reality, an infinity of infinities layered beyond our sight. If the multiverse is real, then even the vast distances of space that we see in the night sky are but a small slice of the total picture. The infinite universe of stars, already so immense, would be only one leaf on an endless tree. And time, too, would stretch across these countless branches, each universe with its own flow of moments, its own future unfolding quietly beyond the reach of others. Yet, despite the vastness of such a multiverse, our experience remains here, in this universe, beneath this sky, moving through this flow of time. And perhaps there is comfort in that no matter how large the whole may be, the present moment remains a place to rest, a place to breathe, a place to listen to the quiet unfolding of existence. Whether or not the multiverse exists, the idea serves to remind us of the infinite possibilities that lie within the fabric of reality. That beyond every horizon, there may be another horizon. Beyond every space, another space. Beyond every moment, another unfolding. Infinity, in this view, is not a distant abstraction. It is the nature of the cosmos itself, a quiet, endless dance of creation, stretching in all directions, across all scales. And as you rest now, breathing gently, your thoughts drifting through the stillness of the night, you are part of this vastness, a mind among infinities, a small bright spark within an endless sea of possibilities. No hurry, no limit, no final boundary, just the soft unfolding of time and the endless quiet of infinity. Infinity is a strange and beautiful idea, but it is also full of surprises, moments where the ordinary logic of everyday life no longer applies. Some of the most intriguing of these surprises come in the form of paradoxes, thought experiments that show how infinity can behave in ways that seem impossible at first glance. One of the most famous of these paradoxes was imagined by the mathematician David Hilbert. It is sometimes called Hilbert's Hotel, and it invites us to picture a very unusual place, a hotel with an infinite number of rooms. In this strange hotel, there is a room numbered 1, a room numbered 2, a room numbered 3, and so on, forever. There is no last room. The hallway of rooms stretches endlessly, each with its own number, continuing further and further with no end. Now imagine that this infinite hotel is completely full. Every room contains a guest. In an ordinary hotel, a new guest arriving at the front desk would have to be turned away. No room would be available. But in this infinite hotel, something different happens. The manager, faced with this new arrival, does not panic. Instead, they simply ask each guest to move to the next room. The guest in room 1 moves to room 2. The guest in room 2 moves to room 3. The guest in room 3 moves to room 4. And so on, endlessly down the hallway. Because the number of rooms is infinite, there is always another room waiting. And now, room 1 is empty, ready for the new guest. Even though the hotel was completely full, it could still accommodate another guest. And if a whole busload of guests were to arrive, say an infinite number of new guests, each needing their own room, the manager would not worry. They could ask the current guests to move to new rooms. Each guest in room number N would move to room number 2N. In this way, all the even-numbered rooms would become occupied, and all the odd-numbered rooms would be left empty, ready to receive the new guests. An infinite number of new guests in an already full hotel. This strange situation shows us how infinity does not behave like ordinary numbers. In an infinite set, adding more does not necessarily make it larger. You can always fit more, because there is no end. It is a playful thought, a story of a hotel that can never be truly full, no matter how many guests arrive. But it also touches on something deeper. Infinity is not bound by the same limits that govern the finite world. In the realm of infinity, our usual intuitions no longer apply. The paradoxes of infinity do not stop there. Imagine taking an infinite line of marbles, each numbered 1, 2, 3, and so on. If you were to remove one marble, you would still have an infinite number left. If you were to remove every even-numbered marble, the set would still be infinite. Though smaller in some sense, it would remain endless. And if you tried to compare two infinite sets, you might find that both are equally infinite, even though one appears larger than the other. This is part of what makes infinity so rich, so strange, and so beautiful. It challenges the way we think about size, number, and change. It reminds us that the universe can behave in ways beyond the reach of simple counting. Even in physics, ideas like Hilbert's hotel raise deep questions. Could such infinite structures exist in the real universe? Could space itself be infinite? Could time? Might the fabric of the cosmos contain endless layers, always ready to unfold further? These questions remain open. And though Hilbert's hotel is a thought experiment, a story to help us think about infinity, it reveals something true about the nature of endlessness. That in an infinite world, there is always room for more, always another step to take, always another guest to welcome. And as you listen now, drifting quietly through these thoughts, you too are traveling through infinities of space, of time, of possibility. Your breath rises and falls, steady and calm, within the endless flow of moments. Each second unfolds into the next, with no final point. And in this soft rhythm, infinity is all around you, not as something to reach or grasp, but as something to drift within, peacefully, without end. When we think about the infinite, about endless space, endless time, it leads naturally to another question, one that touches the very nature of reality itself. If the universe is infinite, could it repeat? If space stretches on forever, filled with stars, galaxies, and worlds without end, might some patterns appear again? Might there be, somewhere out there, a region of space so distant that it mirrors our own? And if time continues without end, unfolding moment after moment for eternity, might some moments eventually return in some form? This idea, simple at first glance, opens up a vast and gentle landscape of thought. In a finite universe, the possibilities are limited. There are only so many ways that particles can arrange themselves, only so many configurations that matter and energy can take. But in an infinite universe, the possibilities stretch beyond imagining. Yet even so, if the number of possible arrangements is finite, and if the space in which those arrangements can occur is infinite, then some patterns may repeat. Just as letters in a book can be arranged in many ways, but not in infinite ways, so too might the building blocks of the universe, after countless variations, return to familiar forms. Somewhere, in the vast reaches of space, there could be another star very much like our sun, another planet much like Earth, perhaps even another you, living a life that echoes this one, or diverges from it in ways great or small. This is not to say that such repetition is certain. The laws of physics, the nature of space, and the flow of time may shape the universe in ways that prevent such echoes, or they may allow them. In an infinite universe ruled by probabilities, what is not forbidden may, given enough time and space, occur again. And so the thought lingers, soft and strange, that beyond the distant galaxies, beyond the limits of sight, the patterns of existence may begin to echo, not in a cycle, not in a strict loop, but as quiet repetitions scattered through infinity. And time itself offers its own kind of reflection. If time is infinite, if it stretches forward endlessly, might some configurations return, by chance or by nature? Might the cosmos evolve toward certain states, only to pass through them again and again, separated by spans of time so vast that each return feels entirely new? Some ancient philosophies imagined the universe as a great wheel, cycles of creation and dissolution, endless rebirth. Modern physics explores other possibilities. The idea of eternal inflation suggests that new regions of space-time are constantly forming, each with its own beginning, its own future. Some cosmologists consider the idea of a cyclic universe, one that expands, contracts, and expands again, endlessly reshaping itself through vast cycles of cosmic time. Others suggest that entropy, the gradual winding down of order in the universe, leads to a final, quiet state from which no return occurs. The truth may lie beyond our current understanding, but in every version, the infinite remains, whether in space, in time, or in the possibilities of what reality may hold. And in that infinite, the chance of repetition, of echoes across space and time, remains a gentle, haunting thought. It is not something to fear. It is simply a reminder that in an endless universe, the familiar and the strange may both find their place. That somewhere, perhaps beyond reach, the dance of matter and energy may once again shape a world, a star, a life, much like our own, or unlike it, in ways we cannot yet imagine. And as you breathe softly now, resting beneath this sky of quiet infinities, you are part of this unfolding story. A story without a final page. A journey through a universe where each moment leads gently to the next. And where, far beyond the horizon of sight, the patterns of reality may drift and return. In the calm flow of endless time, infinity is an idea as old as thought itself. Long before modern science, long before telescopes and equations, people looked at the stars and felt the quiet pull of something without limit. They saw the sky stretching endlessly overhead, the flow of rivers that seemed to run without end, the patterns of waves returning again and again to the shore. In these simple moments, the mind began to reach for something more, a sense of the endless, the unbounded, the infinite. And yet, as natural as this sense might be, truly understanding infinity is something no mind can fully do. Infinity is not like a large number, waiting to be counted. It is not like a distant place, waiting to be reached. It is a vastness with no edge, a concept that the human mind can only approach in glimpses, never in full. When we try to imagine infinity, we often picture something growing larger and larger, a number line stretching off into the distance, a staircase that rises forever, a journey that never ends. These are helpful images, but even they fall short. For no matter how far we imagine going, Infinity remains farther still. No matter how large the number we picture, there is always more beyond it. This is part of what makes infinity so beautiful and so difficult. It lies beyond completion, beyond the grasp of the counting mind. And yet, it calls to us. Mathematicians have long worked to give shape to infinity. They write equations, build sets, explore paradoxes and patterns. They find ways to define and compare infinities. In this world of thought, infinity takes on structure, not as a number, but as a way of describing endlessness in its many forms. Philosophers, too, have turned their thoughts to infinity. They ponder what it means for something to have no end. They ask whether time itself might be infinite, whether space might stretch forever, whether the human soul might be touched by the infinite. In poetry and art, infinity often appears as a symbol of longing, of beauty too great to contain, of love that lasts beyond time, of skies without limit. And in dreams, the mind sometimes drifts into endless spaces, corridors with no end, stairways without a final step, fields that stretch beyond sight. All of this speaks to the same quiet truth, that while we cannot truly know infinity, we can feel its presence. We can sense its shape, even if we cannot hold it. This is part of being human, to live within limits of body, of thought, of time, and yet to reach for what lies beyond them, to imagine the stars that lie past the edge of sight, to think of numbers without end, to dream of journeys that continue forever. In this way, infinity lives in the mind, not as something we can fully grasp, but as a horizon that draws our thoughts outward. And this outward pull is not empty. It brings wonder. It brings peace. For in a finite life, in a world of days and years, the thought of infinity offers a quiet space, a place where the rush of moments slows, where the need to finish, to arrive, fades into calm. Infinity reminds us that not everything must be done, not everything must be counted or known, that some things simply are, endless, unfolding, present in each breath and beyond it. When you look at the sea, stretching beyond the horizon, when you gaze at the stars scattered through the night sky, when you listen to the wind and feel its ceaseless motion, you are touching this idea. You are feeling, in a small way, the echo of infinity in the world around you. And when you sit quietly, letting your thoughts drift without need or goal, you are feeling the echo of infinity within. For thought itself is not bound. It can move from moment to moment, from memory to hope, from question to dream without limit. And in that gentle flow, infinity finds a home in the mind. No need for certainty, no need for answers, just the quiet knowing that beyond every number there is another. Beyond every thought, another waiting to unfold. Beyond every breath, another moment waiting to be lived. And in this way, you are part of something endless, not by reaching, but simply by being. A mind within an infinite universe, a moment within an endless stream of time. And as you lie here now, breathing softly, thoughts drifting in and out like waves on the shore, you can let this sense of the infinite settle around you. No edges, no final point, only the gentle flow of awareness, endless and calm. And infinity is not only an idea held in numbers or in distant stars. It also appears all around us, woven quietly into the patterns of nature, visible in the shapes of trees, in the curves of rivers, in the endless branching of clouds and light. When we walk through a forest and look at the trees, we may notice the way each branch divides into smaller branches, and each of those into smaller twigs. This branching continues downward through ever finer details, each split echoing the last, the same form repeating at smaller and smaller scales. No matter how closely we look, there is always more to see. Smaller branches, finer twigs, delicate leaves. And this is one of the ways that infinity reveals itself in nature, through patterns that repeat and divide, endlessly approaching finer and finer structure. We see the same in the shapes of rivers. From a great height, a river winds through a valley. But as we look closer, we see smaller streams feeding into the river. And those streams are fed by yet smaller creeks, and those creeks by smaller trickles of water flowing from the land. Each level of this branching mirrors the next, repeating across scales. The coastline of an island offers another example. From a distance, the shore appears as a simple curve. But as we move closer, we see smaller bays and inlets. Still closer, the curves become more intricate. Rocks, tide pools, grains of sand. And the closer we look, the more detail appears. It is as though the coastline is endless, not in size, but in structure. The smaller the measure, the more twists and turns we find. This is sometimes called a fractal, a pattern that repeats at many scales, with no final level of detail. Fractals are not just abstract forms in mathematics. They are found in clouds, in the veins of leaves, in the branching of lightning across the sky, in the spiral arms of galaxies, echoing the curves of hurricanes, of shells, of flowers. In each of these, infinity appears, not as something distant, but as something present. A pattern that never ends, a shape that draws the eye deeper and deeper the more we look. Even the human body holds such patterns, the branching of blood vessels through our veins, the fine structure of nerves that carry signals through our limbs, the spirals of hair, the folds of the brain, endless paths within a finite form. Nature does not stop at one level of detail. It continues, offering more, offering endless depth. And as we notice this, we see that the infinite is not only out in space or buried in the distant future of the universe. It is here, now, all around us. A quiet presence in the leaves of a tree, in the flow of water, in the light of the stars. And perhaps this is why the patterns of nature bring a kind of peace. They remind us, softly, of the endlessness that underlies the world. An infinity of forms, unfolding with no need for completion. A coastline that cannot be fully measured. A river that splits endlessly into finer streams. A cloud that offers more and more detail, the longer we look. The mind, too, follows this pattern. Thoughts branching into other thoughts. Ideas leading to questions. Dreams unfolding endlessly into new dreams. And as you lie here now, resting in this quiet moment, you are part of this infinite unfolding. A single breath in an endless stream of breaths. A single thought among endless possibilities, a moment within the infinite patterns of nature. No need to measure, no need to know the final count, simply to rest within this quiet infinity, present in the world around you. Time is something we all live within, moment by moment, breath by breath. We mark its passage with the turning of the earth, the rising and setting of the sun, the changing of seasons. We count it in hours and minutes, in days and years. But beneath these familiar rhythms, time stretches on in ways that defy easy understanding. For time, like space, may have no final edge. It flows forward, one second after another, without pause, without end. And in this flow, we glimpse another form of infinity, one not written in distance, but in duration. An infinite future, an endless stream of moments still to come. When we think of the future, we often imagine days and years ahead, a plan for tomorrow, a dream for next year. But what lies beyond those nearby horizons? What lies in the centuries to come, the millennia, the ages of stars and galaxies, the cosmic timescales that stretch far beyond any human span? Even the earth itself, so old and solid, is young compared to what may still unfold. Our planet formed some 4.5 billion years ago. Our sun will continue to shine for several billion years more. And beyond that, the galaxy will continue its slow turn through space. The stars will live and die. New stars will be born. And long after the last star fades, time will continue. The universe will keep expanding. Moments will continue to unfold, one after another, for trillions of years and beyond. In the far future, the structures we know, the stars, the galaxies, may disappear. Matter may thin out across space. Black holes will drift and slowly evaporate. The universe may grow colder and quieter. And still, time will flow. No clock will remain to measure it. No observer may be there to witness it. But the future will stretch on, unbroken. An infinite unfolding of moments, reaching endlessly ahead. And even before such distant times, within the life of this planet, time offers its own infinities. Every second you experience holds an infinite depth of detail. The motion of particles, the signals in your nerves, the branching of thought, each unfolds in patterns that cannot be fully counted or known. A single moment contains endless complexity, and each moment leads into the next, with no final one to be named. Even when we think of the past, we often imagine it as a line stretching back. Birth, history, ancient times, the formation of the earth, the birth of the stars. But beyond the earliest moment we can measure, what we call the Big Bang, does time end? Or was there something before? Some theories suggest that time itself began with the Big Bang, that before it, the very concept of time has no meaning. Others imagine cycles of time, endless expansions and contractions, universes born and reborn in a pattern without end. Still others suggest that time may have always existed in some form. Whatever the truth, the infinite appears again. If not in the past, then in the future. If not in the great cycles of cosmic time, then in the endless chain of moments we each live through. For even now, as you lie here listening, time flows. This moment stretches gently into the next, and that moment into the next, without end. And within this flow, there is no need to grasp or to hurry. The infinite future offers room for all things to unfold. There is no final moment to be reached, no last second to be counted. Only the gentle unfolding of time, moving forward with soft and steady grace. And when we reflect on this, there can be a quiet peace. For in an infinite stream of time, there is always space to breathe, always space to be. There is no rush to reach some imagined end, for no such end awaits. The future lies open, like a path stretching endlessly into the distance. And we, each of us, move gently along it, moment by moment, breath by breath, within the soft currents of time. In this way, infinity in time touches the heart of what it means to live. For life is not measured in totals alone, but in the unfolding of moments, in the simple fact that each breath gives rise to the next, that each thought flows softly into the one that follows. And as you rest now, quiet and calm, you are part of this infinity. Not apart from it, but within it. A single life in an endless stream of time. A single moment, surrounded by countless moments yet to come. And though the future stretches beyond knowing, there is no need to know it all. It is enough to be here, now, resting gently within the flow, and to know that this flow continues, softly, endlessly, peacefully, through all the moments yet to be. To live in a universe touched by infinity is to move through a world of endless wonder, a world where space stretches far beyond sight, where time flows without end, where the simplest patterns of nature unfold into depths beyond measure, and where even the thoughts in your mind can drift softly into the infinite. So much of life feels bounded. We build walls. We mark calendars. We measure steps, count days, follow paths with known destinations. But beneath all these boundaries, beneath the edges of maps and the lines of clocks, the infinite waits. It is present in the sky, where stars stretch across space so vast that no distance can capture it. It is present in the quiet flow of time, moving forward from moment to moment without final limit. It is present in the smallest details of nature, in the branching of leaves, in the veins of a flower, in the intricate curve of a shell. And it is present within you, in the endless unfolding of thought and memory, of breath and awareness. The infinite is not something distant. It is not something that lies beyond reach, beyond stars, or only in the far corners of the universe. It is here, now, woven into every moment you live. To reflect on this is not to seek answers, but to rest within the knowing that there is more, always more, beyond the limits of what can be counted or known. There is no need to rush toward some imagined end. There is no final place to arrive. Infinity means that the path continues, always, gently, without hurry. In such a universe, there is no shortage of time, no final page in the story of existence, only an endless unfolding, in which each moment holds its own quiet space. And within this space, you can rest. You can let go of the need to finish or complete, and instead Breathe within the gentle flow of the infinite. It is comforting to know that time stretches ahead, not as a race to be run, but as an open path. That space unfolds, not as a destination to be reached, but as a field without edge. And that within this endless cosmos, you are not small, you are a part of it. A spark of awareness moving softly through the infinite. The stars that shine in the night sky are ancient, their light having traveled for thousands or millions of years to reach your eyes, their presence a quiet witness to the deep time of the universe. The space between those stars is not empty, but filled with potential, with unseen energies, with drifting particles, with the soft fabric of space itself stretching on and on. And the time that carries you forward is part of this same fabric. No clock can mark its full reach. No calendar can contain it. In this moment, as you lie here, breathing slowly, gently aware of your place within this endless cosmos, you are connected to the infinite, not by distance, but by being. You are made of the same materials as the stars. You are shaped by the same flow of time. And the awareness that rests within you is part of this quiet unfolding, stretching softly through space and time without end. There is peace in knowing that the universe holds no final edge, that beyond each horizon there lies another, that beyond each question there is room for more wonder, that beyond each breath there is space for another, and another, and another. No need to reach for the end of things, for there is no end. No need to grasp for certainty, for the infinite embraces all things, even the unknown. In an infinite cosmos, there is always more light to see, more space to drift through, more time to unfold, more thoughts to dream. And here, in this moment, you are part of it, a mind at rest within the quiet embrace of the infinite, a gentle presence within a universe that stretches endlessly beyond. You can breathe in this space. You can rest in this time. There is no need to rush, no need to count, no need to know. Only the soft awareness that you are here, now, drifting gently through an infinite flow of being. And as the stars wheel slowly through the night, as space expands quietly beyond your sight, as time unfolds without hurry or end, you too can let go into this stillness. You can allow each breath to soften, each thought to quiet, each moment to drift into the next, with no final moment to be reached. In this calm, you are part of the infinite, woven into space and time, carried on the quiet currents of the cosmos. There is nothing to do, no place to be, no need to finish, only to rest, gently, within the endless unfolding of this infinite night. Sleep well.